Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham AFC from the point of view of long-term fans and new fans.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 81 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Wearing black today, in mourning.
Do you know what? Weird, right? I put my black shirt on this morning while you were downstairs and I went, I'm going to say it's because I'm in mourning because we lost yesterday.
I've come out in some hives on my face as well, which seems to happen in times of high stress. So I think...
How are you not in have hives all the time living with me?
I don't know. But I think... that I'm allergic to us losing.
Yeah.
And I get quite stressed when we're not playing well and things like that. So I think that's that. I'm going to blame Wrexham AFC for the hives on my face or whatever it is that they are. Do you know how I feel at the moment as a Wrexham fan? Me personally, not a reflection on anybody else, but I'm sure there are plenty of other people who, if they're honest, feel like this. I feel like a bit of a spoilt brat at times. So last 18 months, we've been amazing. You know, let's be honest, we've been absolutely fantastic. And then when we have a week where we're not so amazing, I sort of feel like I don't throw my toys out the pram so much, but it does annoy me because, you know, you sort of expect week in, week out that this squad is good enough to put in a performance. And I don't think that's an unreasonable sort of thought. If we were mid-table and some teams were just better than us, and then some weeks we got overrun, and then other weeks we were as good or a little bit better than somebody, so we played well, and then you sort of go back and to between these two. But as a team, I think we're probably better collectively and individually than a lot of the other clubs in this league.
Agreed.
People who don't support Wrexham might hate that comment and might hate us even more for it, but I think it's probably true.
Yep.
So I think when we don't put in a performance, for whatever reason, and we'll talk about the Newport game in a bit, I just feel a bit, why? Why aren't we doing that? Because I've watched us just absolutely dismantle teams. And then you go somewhere and, as I say, we'll talk about the game, but even before the red card, we just didn't look on it. I know it was only 15 minutes and it's quite hard to judge based on 15 minutes.
18 minutes exactly.
Yeah, but it's hard for me to comprehend sometimes.
I don't think you're alone with that, to be fair.
And we'll go into a lot more detail about that.
But the FA Cup, should we talk about that first?
Yeah.
Before we we crack on.
Yeah, do I look stupid? I don't know really.
I never had any doubt.
Because I'm not sure really, because I made the point that obviously moving it to a Monday night was the wrong decision. It wasn't thinking about...
It was the wrong decision because we can't go now because you're working.
Yeah, but it's the wrong decision for us. But there was a lot of people in our boat. And, you know, we were allocated 7,000 tickets. If I'm completely honest, I didn't think we would sell them being on a Monday night. Although... I did make the point that our fan base is very hard to judge at the moment. Yeah. You know, the point I made was, you know, we've got a 12,000 odd capacity at the racecourse. Week in, week out, we are selling that out. You know, obviously only 12,000 since the temporary stand went up, which was the Newport game in December. We sold it out every week, and prior to that, we sold out the 10,000 that we did have.
Yep.
So. Judging our fan base is hard because we don't know how many fans are missing out on a weekly basis. And that's the point that I made last week. I didn't feel like we were going to sell 7,000 tickets for a Monday night game, given the fact that how many people work what you would call standard hours. So 8 till 4 Monday to Friday or 9 till 5 Monday to Friday. The amount of people who'd have to put holidays in. I thought we might struggle. So I thought we'd sell a lot. But I thought we might struggle.
But we didn't.
But as it turns out, we didn't.
28 minutes.
And I don't mind admitting I was wrong. I don't mind.
It's very big of you.
Thanks.
28 minutes they took to sell out.
Is that it?
Yeah, I've read that the stand where the Wrexham fans will be on the 29th is got a capacity of 7,300. So excuse me, I don't know whether there'll be obviously us in the middle and then there'll be kind of seats free either side, so obviously there's no like close contact with other fans.
I don't know
with Blackburn fans, or whether it's something that they wanted to kind of see whether or not they would be able to sell the 7,000 first, and then they're going to release more. I don't know. It might.
I doubt it.
I doubt they'll.
To be honest, but they did give Leeds 7,300 recently.
Did they?
So I'm quite surprised if they were going to give us all of it. I think they would have released it straight away rather than releasing 98% of the capacity and then going, oh, we'll give you this other 2%. It didn't really seem warranted. I thought maybe what they might do is give us 5, and then we sold that. If we'd have sold them out straight away, then give us the other 2,000 and just see how that went. But they didn't. They give us everything.
7's a great allocation, though, isn't it? Or 7,000, not 7.
Yeah, but as you go up the leagues, that's sort of, you can sort of expect that a bit more.
Which will be great because, you know, that means more fans can get on the road. It's not going to be, I'm sure there'll still be a ruckus trying to get tickets, but...
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm absolutely gutted that we can't be there. So gutted. You and your blimmin' job.
Yeah, I am gutted. But I'm just really happy that the Wrexham fans have gone out there and bought tickets and are going out to support. The thing I'm still disappointed about is the amount of young kids that may be missing out on this trip. Because,
our son included.
Yeah, you know, there's lots of kids who are maybe between the ages of, I don't know, 5 and 10, whose, you know, their parents on a school night might not, you know, think, look, it's going to be too late. I'm not going to take them. So that's what annoys me a little bit. You know, everyone talks about the magic of the FA Cup and, you know, how special the competition is, which it is, and it is to Wrexham fans, you know, over the years, the big teams that we've put out. So to sort of, I feel like this deprives the young kids and the next generation of football fans the opportunity to go to big games like this and experience what it's like to play an FA Cup game against a bigger team. I think you're sort of cutting them out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the thing that disappoints me the most, I would say, about this whole scenario. But congratulations to everybody who got tickets and who's going.
I think it's going to be a good atmosphere.
I think so. One thing I did read, there was a Blackburn fan on Twitter, I didn't get his name, but he went to pick up his tickets from the ticket office at Ewood Park for the Wrexham game, and the person that gave him the tickets from behind the counter, their comment was, "We've barely sold any." So I'm not saying that there's not going to be many of them there, but there's other issues at Blackburn. They're a bit sort of disillusioned with the team, and again, we'll talk about Blackburn a little bit more in a bit. But yeah, they hadn't sold. This was only Tuesday, maybe last week.
So they've still got a week.
Yeah, they still have plenty of time to sell tickets, but yeah, the comment coming out of the ticket office was that they barely sold any.
Is that because they're playing against Wrexham and it's like...
Maybe. I mean,
League 2 team against Championship team.
Are they bothered? Like, I don't... Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's quite worrying though, that.
A little bit of a news roundup for the week just gone. So Scott Butler's signed for Marine on loan until the end of the season.
He has.
Good move for him, do you think?
I think so. I mean, it's a Northern Premier.
Yes.
So it's a non-league team, basically.
Yeah, they're the 8th tier in English football, basically. That's where they are. They're in the 8th tier. If you bear in mind the national... So Wrexham are in League 2, which is the 4th tier in English football. The National League we've just come from is obviously the 5th. Marine play in the 8th tier of national.
He's not getting much game time, obviously. Well, not at all. He's not. I don't think I've ever seen him play. Possibly once. Who knows? I
have seen him play, but I can't remember in what competition.
So I think, you know, it is a good move because, again, like Owen Cushion and Dan Davis, it gives them time to, it gives them time to,
Yeah.
checking out there to make sure the mics are on.
No, I was just checking.
Just to give them more game time, basically, and hopefully that's what they'll get, or he'll get.
Yeah, I think so. I think he is the one thing that bothers me about this move a little bit is I think he's better than that. I think he's better than 8th tier, to be honest, because I think so. But look, it's all about game time, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you can go in there and you can help them, move them on. I think they're 3rd in the league at the moment, Marine. So
he might be what they need to get them into.
He might well be. And it gets him game time. But, we've had this conversation before, where dropping down so far, you're dropping down 4 tiers of football. Even if you are a superstar in the 8th tier, that doesn't give you any sort of right to come back to the 4th tier and start games, does it? So it could be seen as a dangerous move for him. It could be just what he needs. Time will tell.
Yeah. So he's got till the end of the 23-24 season. So
yeah. So we'll see how that goes for him.
So Jacob Mendy made his international debut.
Yes.
He actually played this time.
So he started the game against Guinea. They lost 1-0. It was in the AFCON, which is the African Cup of Nations. They lost 1-0. I'm really happy for him that he got some game time in the competition.
Yeah, he's a good player, Mendy. So I'm surprised he hasn't been picked for the first squad
before. I think it's one of them where, it must be so demoralising for the players who go to big competitions like the AFCON, World Cup, the Euros, whatever it might be.
And sit on the bench.
And sit on the bench for the whole tournament and get 0 game time. So I didn't want that for him. I know he's not a regular in that team, but I just wanted him to get some sort of game time, and I think it would have, it might have been a bit demoralising to go. Although it would have been a great experience for him to be at the tournament, I just wanted him to get some game time, and he's got it. So I'm really happy. Yeah, really happy about that. I'll be honest, Gambia have lost both of their games. That means they've got 1 left in the group. Mm-hmm. It's looking quite unlikely they're going to qualify from that group, so we should have him back quite soon.
Good for us.
Yeah.
Not so good for Gambia.
But is he going to play anyway? That's the question.
Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah.
But it's nice to have him back, and you've got more options then, haven't you? Yeah, definitely. Right, we're getting a lot of messages at the moment, and a lot of people asking questions about Aaron Hayden. Now, I feel that Aaron Hayden has had a lot of airtime on this podcast, considering he hardly ever plays. But I think, the amount of people who've got in touch with us about Aaron Hayden this week and the week before, I think it's very worthwhile sort of bringing it up again and talking about it again, because people want to know what's going on, basically. So for the Newport game, he wasn't in the starting lineup. He wasn't in the matchday squad again. He is back in training. So I think we're looking at a return soon at some point. Phased return. Yeah, I think Owen O'Connell was a little bit ahead of Aaron in terms of getting back to full fitness. The plan for Owen was to have him on the bench on Saturday, a few minutes maybe towards the end of the game, and then Owen was going to play in the reserve game. The Wrexham reserves have got a game on Tuesday. Owen was going to play in that one, get as many minutes as he could, and then feel like... As it turned out, that isn't quite what happened. He had a lot more minutes on Saturday than I think Phil wanted him.
Sounds like really posh then, Saturday.
Do you know what it is?
Saturday.
I'm struggling a little bit. I've got a really bad ulcer on my tongue. So I'm trying to talk and not catch it on my teeth. But sometimes it makes me sound a bit posh. But so Aaron, his last game was the 3rd of December. Okay, so
Seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
well,
weird.
By the time we play our next game, that means he will have been out for 8 weeks.
Next league game or next?
No,
the
by
29th.
the time Blackburn comes around, if he plays in that means he will have been out for 8 weeks. If he doesn't play in that, then that'll be the following Saturday. That means he will have been out for 9. You know how weeks work.
Yeah, so
go up by 1.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for
every time a
that
weekend
for me.
comes round. Yeah. But yeah, so he's been, by the time our next game comes up, he's been out for 8 weeks. Last year, as we're all aware, he was out for almost exactly 6 months. So he played against Sheffield United in the FA Cup, got injured in that game, which was towards the end of January. He didn't come back and play another game. I know there was a little bit of off-season in there as well. The next game he played was mid-July when we played Chelsea in the States.
Yep.
So that's a full 6 months without a game. This time around, obviously, 8 weeks. He has been out as well at the end of another season. So
in the last 3 seasons, he's been out approximately a year,
possibly
and a few months.
Yeah.
It's
So
not good, that is it, for him?
No, it's not good. What do we do with him?
I don't know. We had a chat with somebody on another podcast, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you said that we feel that we should give him another chance. Let him come back. Let him do what he does amazingly. When he's fit, he is just amazing.
Yeah.
And then kind of see how it works out. But I said, the problem you've got is he is, like I just said, he is an amazing player when he's on the pitch, when he's fit. But the problem you've got is he plays, I don't know, for argument's sake, 2 games. And then he gets injured in the 3rd game. And within a few minutes, shut up, I haven't finished. He gets injured. And then he's out for 6 weeks.
Yeah. It might feel like that. That's not the case.
I know it's not. I just said for argument's sake.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I know it's probably about 10 or 11 games or whatever, but just for example. But still, 11 games out of 46. That's quite a big portion, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I'm lost. I stand by what I said. I do think he, when he's fit and he's playing week in, week out, I think he's a pivotal player. And I think he's really important to us. And I think he chips in with goals. And defensively, I think he's really strong. I think he's still learning as a footballer, as a defender. I think you're always learning. But, I think he's very strong. He's one of our strongest centre halves. But I just don't know about him anymore. I'm a bit lost. I do stand by the point that I make, give him one more chance.
Yeah.
But I think it's got to be one more chance now. I think it has to be, because if he comes back in now, and let's say, what are we in? January. So let's say he plays the rest of January, February, a bit of March, and then gets injured, then he's out for the rest of the season again. As an example, fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But if that was to happen, I just think you've got to cut your losses, because the disruption that would cause within the team, I think is worse than how beneficial he is when he's there, because you're having to switch everything. You're switching tactics. You might be playing players in a position where maybe they're not completely comfortable playing it. On the right instead of on the left, or whatever it might be. I just want him to be fit all the time.
I know.
And I think he
probably wants that as well.
I'm sure he does. And he's one of the first names on the team sheet every time we play, if he is fit.
Yeah.
It's fact. It is a fact. There are others, but he is one of the first that you put on that team sheet because of how powerful he is, and for his attacking presence from corners and everything that he does. he's got to be one of the first on the team sheet.
Yeah, I agree.
But can we rely on him? That is the problem that I've now got. Is if it was an average player and they kept on getting injured, this wouldn't even be a conversation.
No.
It would just be going, oh look, just get rid of him,
Yeah.
because it's just there's no point. You know, you're just like almost like a filler player, somebody who just fills in here and there. Let's say it was Liam McAlinden, for example.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a lot of game time, doesn't have a specific position that we play him in. He fills in here and there as and when we need him to. If he was injured for like 3 months at a time every time, we wouldn't even be talking about it. Everyone would be agreed, just let him go. Let's be honest, he's fit all the time. He hasn't missed a game, Liam McAlinden, but people still don't want him really at the club. No, I'm not being horrible. I'm not saying that's my opinion, but people wouldn't be fussed if he left tomorrow. They really wouldn't. And so if it was him, sorry to pick this one player out.
I was going to say, if by a miracle you're watching this, Liam,
I don't mean to single. I'm just picking a player. There's a few of them. I'm just picking a player who is on the fringes and just fills in as and when. So people, the fan base don't get a chance to fall in love with a player like that because they're never really playing. So that's my point. So if he was to leave, the complete lack of game time that Liam gets, that would sort of be, okay, well, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't get the opportunity to see him playing week in, week out. And
he did play quite a bit when we were, what was it, the 21-22 season?
Still fringe, though.
I know, but he did play a lot more than he's playing
now. That's
now.
the point I'm trying to make. If it was a player like that, I don't think we'd be having this sort of conversation because of the importance of Aaron Hayden. That is why this keeps coming up again and again and again. There are players who play week in, week out that we don't discuss as much as Aaron Hayden. Do you know what I mean? So
because you love Aaron Hayden.
Yeah, I do, and I just get fit.
I feel like you're gonna start crying in a minute. It's okay.
It is sad though.
It is sad
because you know he could be such a massive player for us, not just in League Two, but he's got the ability to develop again and again and kick on again and again and come with us on the journey through the leagues.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's just one of those, let's see when he's back, let's see what happens, and then...
My gut feeling, take everything away, just gut feeling is it's going to happen again.
Is it the same injury constantly?
No.
See, that's not even like...
That's not good, is it, either? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So... that's my gut feeling, is he's going to come back, we're going to fall in love with him all over again, and then the same thing's going to happen. That's my gut feeling.
But fingers crossed it doesn't.
Yeah. Let's talk about Newport anyway.
Yeah.
We lost. Right, let's move on.
We did lose, but the starting team, we had no Fletcher.
No.
Dalby was in his place.
Yes, he was. Fletcher had a tight calf.
He he felt something in his calf during training, and he failed a fitness test yesterday what day are we on?
It's Friday lunchtime.
Friday lunchtime.
Yeah.
So it was the decision was made that he wasn't going to be in the starting 11, but hopefully he'll be back.
Missed, I think.
100%.
Definitely missed. Although, having said that, I feel like I say that way too much.
Although you do.
Is that my catchphrase?
Although, or in the sense of, that's what you say a lot as well.
Okay. What I mean, in the sense of, no, I'm joking. No, was he missed? Yes.
Yep.
But would he have been on past 18 minutes anyway? That's the question you have to ask yourself. 18 minutes in, we'll talk about that in a second, Sam had to come off. So if Fletcher was playing, would he have made it past 18 minutes anyway?
Maybe not.
Would he have had the opportunity to affect the game in the same way? Possibly not. And he might have been the one that was sacrificed. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
We don't know. We also didn't have Tom O'Connor.
No, he has got a slight fracture.
Yes.
In his foot. So I don't know if I read that he's going to be off for a few weeks, but I'm assuming obviously a fracture. It's only a slight fracture. It's not like a big. I don't know how he's done it.
Dropped a can of beans on his foot.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a slight fracture in his foot. Don't know which foot it is. That's by the by in it really.
Not really, because he's left-footed, so hopefully it's in his right.
Hopefully. So what I meant by the by is that he can't play whether it's in his left or his right.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how long.
You're not?
No, no. I don't know how long a fracture takes to heal. I mean, you have plaster on a broken arm for about 6 weeks, so I don't know whether a slight fracture would be less, or I'm not sure.
No, he wouldn't. It wouldn't be plastered.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Probably a boot.
Yes.
Probably have a boot and some crutches.
Boot and crutches, yeah.
Keep your weight off it.
Yeah, it depends where the fracture is as well. Because if it's in, because I know if you break your little toe, for example, on your foot, they do nothing.
The metatarsal.
Yeah, because I remember my brother went he was going to boarding school, his choice. My parents aren't horrible. And he went for a medical, weirdly. As he was walking out of the medical, he broke his little toe. And they didn't do anything. They didn't bandage it, strap it, or anything.
No, the only reason I know the word metatarsal is when David Beckham broke it. I think in one tournament years and years ago. I think Wayne Rooney broke it as well. Never heard of it before. And then now it's quite a...
Metacarpals, metatarsals. Metacarpals, metatarsals.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. No. Football has taught me a lot. Football has taught me geography, medical terms, all sorts.
I've got an anatomy qualification, so...
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, well done. Fads was on the bench.
I like Fads, don't get me wrong. You know, he's one of my OGs.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a little bit weird. No, I thought the whole bench was a bit weird, if I'm honest.
Wasn't really an impact bench, was
No.
it? Wasn't a bench that you looked at and go, right, if we're struggling...
We've got Fletcher.
Yeah.
We've got... Well, Ollie Palmer was on there, but...
We were looking at a few players and it was like Fads and you're going, okay, well, he's not going to change the game if he comes on, no offence.
Luke Young was on there.
Luke Young, another one, really. Not going to...
Possibly.
But yeah, there wasn't a lot of what you'd call impact players there. And it was a bit... I mean, it's dictated by who's fit. You know?
We said it was a weird bench, but it was also a weird first team.
Really?
I thought so.
Why?
Because obviously, we're going to go on to it in a minute, aren't we? We're going to talk about Will Boyle. I'm not a massive fan, and after yesterday, I'm even less of a fan.
Yeah.
Not because I think he's a horrible person. I just don't see what. You know, I'm trying to be diplomatic here.
You don't need to be diplomatic. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game.
Okay.
So the first 15 minutes pretty much followed the trend of the first game that we played 3 weeks ago. They had a lot of the ball. They were pressing, high energy. You know, they were pushing on to us.
Barnett got fouled.
Did he?
I don't think it was like.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't. That was like within the first few minutes. I don't think it was a bad foul, because the guy just got a talking to, I think, or nothing happened. But he went down, which was worrying because he's literally just come back from an injury. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. Is because not because it was
I thought it was that's a weird key talking point from the first quarter of an hour.
Not because he's like really, he got badly fouled. It's because the fact that he went down and he's just come back from...
It is a worry, isn't it, with the injuries that we've got. When you see a player like that who has just come back from an injury and you
going
sort of
down.
Go, oh God, yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So, you know, as I say, it was sort of they seemed more up for it than we did, I would say, in that first 15 minutes. And then what happened? But so Will Boyle went in for a tackle, got the ball, followed through, studs quite high.
Followed through with his foot, not anything else.
Yeah, he might have done, I don't know. Caught the man knee-ish.
But he was holding his knee when he went down, so yeah.
Well, yeah, that means nothing. But
that's true.
And ref didn't really give anything. There was a few players in between the ref and the incident. Linesman flagged furiously. Ref went over to talk to the linesman.
Damn you, linesman.
Usually, I think we knew what was coming because
the ref went to speak.
When the ref goes to speak to the linesman has seen something. in his opinion,
Yeah.
that warrants a face-to-face conversation with the referee. When that happens, that's never a good thing.
No.
Because they do have earpieces that they can talk to each other. If they go and have a face-to-face, it means something. I think it's usually a red. If I'm perfectly honest, it's usually a red. So I as soon as he went over, I sort of knew.
You said to me, didn't you? Said straight red.
Yeah, I said it was a straight red when he started talking to Boyle because I lip read what the ref said.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so but that's how I knew, because I assumed it was a red anyway. When the ref came over, he started talking to him and explaining what was going on, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, "Look, it is a red." And this is and then he started to talk, and then he went into his pocket. So I just saw his lips. That's the only reason that I was. Your thoughts?
Oh, it's so. We were talking about this on our was it a halftime review yesterday on YouTube? It's such a difficult one. I mean, if it had happened the other way round, the Newport player. Who was it? Was it?
Probably Will Evans. He spent more time on the floor than he did on his feet.
He was like a floppy fish yesterday. Yeah. So if it was the other way round and said Newport player had done exactly the same to Will Boyle, I think we would have been all up in arms if he hadn't got a red card as well. So watching it back, it's such a tough one, but I do, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say this, I do think it was a red.
Do you?
I do. I've watched it a couple of times. I couldn't really, you just try to be so diplomatic. Because
you don't need to be.
But I worry that I might offend somebody.
Who cares?
But yeah, straight red for me.
Yeah.
You're going to disagree now, aren't you? You love to disagree with me.
I just think it's so soft. And I hate the way that the game's gone, if I'm honest, because he's gone. I said this yesterday. As a child, I started playing football when I was 9, okay? And I played on the wing a little bit. I played up front a little bit. I sort of settled as a defender. Yeah, because I wasn't. Yeah, that's how I settled. So you get taught tackling as a defender. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
This was the 80s.
No, it was the 90s by the time that I was sort of playing week in, week out.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, still early. Chill out. I'm not that old.
Early 90s, though.
All right.
Things have changed a lot.
I'm just saying some of the things I got taught perhaps wouldn't get taught today. But I think the principles of defending are still the same. And the way that I was taught was get to the ball, make sure you are first to the ball.
Whatever happens afterwards.
Go through it and go through whatever comes after. There's a player there. If it is a case of you are clearing that ball from danger, from them getting the ball, if you get to that ball first and you clean out whatever's after, so if it's one of their players, one of your players, it doesn't matter. You clean out everything that comes with it, as long as you get that ball away. Yeah. And that's what he did. Although, the old catchphrase
in
is
the
back.
sense of.
Although, I do think there was a lot of people, I'm going to read some comments out in a minute. A lot of people were like, it was a natural follow through. What was he supposed to do?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a natural follow through. So,
which is why I think it was
a little bit before that, Will Evans and Will Boyle had a little bit of a coming together. And, there was a bit of sort of pushing and shoving and that sort of thing. And Evans had thrown himself to the floor and Will Boyle wasn't very happy. And there was a little bit.
Tozer wasn't either.
And what sticks in my mind is when something like that happens.
Yeah.
And then you've got a bit of a 50-50 challenge. You sort of go, I'm going to leave a bit in here. And I'm gonna show him
so dangerous
that that I'm the one in charge here, and he's not going to dictate to me. And I think maybe there was a little bit of that. And I think if that incident hadn't happened prior, then maybe that wouldn't have happened. I just felt he lifted his foot
unnaturally
too high.
Yeah,
unnaturally.
Yeah, you'd think it would go, because obviously it was pretty much at knee high, like you said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, bloody hell, I can't even lift my leg that high.
Let's be honest, in the 80s and 90s, that's not even a booking, never mind a red. But, and I get the comments that come through that say no way a red. I get it, because we've grown up with football in the 80s and 90s where, like I say, it's not even a free kick, never mind a yellow or a red. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got to the ball and whatever's come after has come after. It's inconsequential. It's just, that would be slightly posh right for that. I just think it doesn't matter. And so I get the comments. But the game has evolved. And you don't just have to be in control up until the point where you get to the ball. You have to be in control in the whole phase of that tackle.
Yeah.
Do I like it? No, not at all. I want to see absolutely crunching tackles where people get to the ball first and send the striker into the stands, right, with the follow through. That's what I want, because that's what football has always been to me.
Yeah.
You hit the ball, and then you follow through and you take the man goes down, rubbing his ankle, and he knows you're the boss, and then maybe, you get the upper hand. That's always been football to me.
So you think that the way it is now, it's a bit mamby-pamby and...
Completely.
They're like prima donnas on the pitch.
Completely.
And, yeah.
Like I said, when I was playing, my aim was get to that ball and absolutely smash through whoever was the other end of it.
Yeah, look what it's done to your knee.
Yeah, I know. I've got bad knees. Yes, I have. But let's just put him on the floor and let him know that I'm here. Yeah. And that's what I was always told by my old manager when I was playing football. I had the same manager right the way through from 9 till like 16. And he always told me, make sure they know you're there. And that's what you used to have to do. Push them about a bit, get stuck in, tackles, hard tackles. And so sometimes I watch the game and I go, in the modern game, is it a red? Probably. Do I agree with that?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So,
but it was a bit stupid to do what he did, I feel, because I don't feel it was a natural follow through. I haven't really said what I think. Well, I have, but I don't know. I don't know what the actual answer is.
In an interview after the game, Ryan Barnett says, it's unacceptable from us as a team. It's putting us in awkward situations in games, putting us on the back foot, whether the red card was warranted or not. When he says it's unacceptable from us as a team, I think that was aimed at Will Boyle. It was unacceptable, Will.
He did. So I put that comment in. I cut a little bit out in the middle, a little bit out.
There's loads of expletives.
No,
a
little bit out before and a little bit out after. I did just the crux of what he said.
Yeah.
But he said that, it's happened on numerous occasions this season. And, he said it's unacceptable from us as a team. Now, if the players and the manager feel that red card was wrong, then in that interview, for me,
Parky would have said
you
so.
say, I disagree.
Yeah.
Phil didn't say that. Neither did Ryan Barnett in his interview.
Phil was. He probably got quite
he was quite animated about it. Don't get me wrong.
Well, he got a yellow card for it.
Yeah, but he didn't come out and say, this is wrong, we're going to appeal this.
Yeah, no.
This isn't going away on appeal. Anyone who thinks we're going to appeal this and it's going to get overturned, it's not.
It's pointless to appeal
it. It's not. People were referencing the Dominic Calvert-Lewin red card for Everton against Crystal Palace. Completely different. So Calvert-Lewin slid in for the ball to hook it and come back. As he was hooking it, his studs hit the player's ankle.
Right.
And the player went down and he got a red card for it. That was appealed, that was overturned. Because he wasn't even tackling the man, he was hooking the ball with his... And that's why that was overturned. That's not what happened in the Will Boyle incident. He went for the ball and he followed through into the man. Completely different scenario. Mm-hmm. So if we do... we're not going to appeal it. Just so anybody who thinks we are, we're not. 100% we're not. But I just found it... The reason I put the comment in is I just thought... They're not really, Ryan Barnett's used the word unacceptable and then sort of covered it up by saying from us as a team. But
I wonder what it was like in the changing room after.
I think in a scenario like that, Will probably would have apologised for what happened, but it just put us in an impossible situation.
Well, like
I think
Ryan Barnett said it put him on the back foot, and it definitely put him on the back foot.
Yeah, we had there was a few other comments. Joe E said it's not a red card in my opinion, but Boyle needs a fresh start somewhere. Sean Brisley-esque, one of Parky's only misses in the transfer market.
Kyle Jones, Ivy, I'm assuming that's 5.
That would be 4.
Oh, I don't know Roman numerals. Carl Jones, whatever. Yeah. Can't follow through that high, absolutely brain dead.
Paul Griff, I'm sorry, but if I'm shown a red for that, I'm absolutely gutted. All this nonsense about giving the referee no option further confirms that we are slowly losing the game we love. Contactless sport pending. This was a yellow.
Elliot, think it's a harsh one, but with the way the modern game is going and how it probably looked to the ref in real time, can see why it was given.
Can I just say, though, we've got a bit of a culture in football at the moment that I despise, which is we show slow-mos and we show stills of incidents. Look, as a still of the Will Boyle incident, if you freeze that where he makes contact with the player and you just show that image, that's a red all day. That is a red all day long. And I know we don't have VAR.
Because nobody knows what came before and after.
Yeah, and I know we don't, like I said, we don't have VAR. The refs don't get to look at that. But I hate it. I hate this slow-mo crap that we keep doing. And the stills of incidents of where it's horrible. Just play it in real time. I think it should be banned. I think we should just show real-time replays and then, in VAR instance, let the referee make a decision.
I'm assuming, is that what they do in VAR? They do like stills and
slow-mos,
video.
Yeah. Horrible. Hate it.
Gaz Jones.
Thank you. What a shocking decision by the ref. Yet again, another one who wants to be on the documentary. Never a red. How is he supposed to stop the follow-through?
Dave, this was actually to #Ask Wrexham. I still do not see a red card. Boyle gets the ball, hits it, and while he is sliding, the Newport player runs into him as well. Yellow at worst. This is the frustration I have with this game, and thanks to Wrexham, I now like the game.
Daniel Brown, absolutely not against modern standards, but playing 13 seasons youth starting 30 years ago by modern standards, I would have been red carded every game. Daniel, I completely agree with that. I'm in the same boat as you. Unless there was a clear intent to harm, it was a free kick or a yellow. Even yellows were rare. Fair to mention, though, that the kids lack the strength and weight to do the damage full-grown athletes do, so there is that. But, ...
Yeah, but then you've got, how do we know there wasn't any intent?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I can't see it. I don't think Will Boyle's that type of person, but we don't know that there was no intent.
Daniel Brown's comment there is basically me.
Are you sure that isn't you?
It's not me, no. No, it really isn't. But I'm completely with you. I'm guessing 13 seasons starting 30 years. He must be about the same age as me as well. So he's got the exact same opinion as me, I would say there. And it's just how you brought up. Anyway, where are we? What happened after that? Oh, yeah, Ryan Barnett. He did a little spin move, didn't he? Stop talking about the red card now. Little spin move, run down the wing, beat a couple of players, somehow ricocheted back to him. Really tight angle. He sort of had a shot/cross thing that he did. I genuinely think that was the only time I got excited in the whole game.
There was nobody there, though.
No, there wasn't anyone there. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was crossing it, shooting it, but it went right across the face of the goal.
Or hoping that his other teammates would have seen what he was doing, but it went to a Newport player.
Newport scored after 34 minutes, and it was a bit of an uphill task after that, wasn't it? Uphill task after that. A lot of people sort of saying how good the goal was. That we put it right in the top corner. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. All he's done, he's got his head on it. He's headed it towards goal. The fact it's gone in the top corner.
It's just where his angle that he was at.
Just where it went. He didn't aim for that. All he wanted to do was get up, get his head on it, and get it generally towards goal. As it turned out, it went right in the top corner. Fair play to him. But Yeah, it is what it is. There was a lot of frustration after that. McLean had a bit of a dust-up with one of their players. Little kissing game, wasn't it? Little head-to-head. That sort of happened.
Do you think when McLean's like that, do you think it's just him, or do you think he's so passionate about Wrexham that he...
No, I think it's just him. I think he's just a nutter, to be honest.
Oh, but he's a brilliant nutter, though, isn't he?
He is.
He is a class nutter.
But that's what I like. I like a bit of aggression, in players.
It shows that you care.
Yeah, it does, definitely. Arthur made a good save from Morris. Good sprawling save, I would say. 1-0 down at half-time. I didn't really expect anything from the second half. I thought maybe, we've done it in the past. It's such a long time to go with 10 men. Such a long time to go with 10 men.
70-odd minutes?
Yeah, it's just too long. And in all fairness to Newport, they played it well. They kept the ball. They kept on moving it out wide. They made us do the running. They pressed us when we did have it, so we couldn't sort of have a rest and sort of, pass it a little bit. And they just made us run. And I don't think we were ever going to get back into that game. I would like to say, though, fair play to Parky for me, because he always has a go. Always has a go. Came out in the second half, he went to 4 at the back. He put Barney up front for a little bit until he switched it, where he took Max off. He put Barney back at right back. He brought Ollie on.
Yep.
And then later on, after that, even though we're down to 10 men, he put 3 up front when Jake came on. Salute, really, because I don't think it was ever going to work. But
you've got to try
he
these
had
things.
a go, and he alluded to it in his interview after the game, where it's all well and good putting 3 up front, but then you're losing a bit of structure in other parts of the pitch. So the likelihood that you're getting the ball up to them front 3 sort of disappears a little bit. We went to like 2 in midfield, and we were just going to get overrun in midfield, and that's sort of what happened. They controlled the game, and on the balance of what happened, they deserved it, I would say.
Yeah, but I've read so many comments, and it's so true. And it's not just Newport; it's any team that play against us that win. It's like people are saying that it's like it's their FA Cup. They're winning the FA Cup, and it's just like at the end of the day, we have obviously me and Ryan do predictions before the game over on our socials and on TikTok. We had loads of comments from Newport fans going, way up the county or whatever. And there was one guy said, you should have just kept with your prediction of 1-0, mate. And then it's like, that was it. Another person had said, I hope you enjoyed your big day out. It's like, you're 17. You were 17th in the table. It wasn't exactly
that's a little bit ironic though, because everyone says that it's a big day out coming to us, isn't it? So it's just a bit of an ironic comment, to be honest. I sort of felt that's how the game was going to go though. If I'm on, not that we're going to go down to 10 men, but although there was a bit of a whiff of that about it, because we had a look at the ref before the game and he loved a card. He dished them out all over the place. I think he'd sent players off in half of the games almost that he'd been in this season. He was definitely looking for it.
Yesterday he dished out 1 red card to Boyle, and he dished out 6 red cards to Newport.
Yellow.
And what did I say? Red. Yellow, sorry. And then 4 to 3 on the pitch, and obviously Parky on the bench. So, I don't know really. It was just one of them games, and we couldn't get into it at all. We had 1 shot on target, and according to SofaScore,
if I am completely honest, I can't remember that shot on target.
Maybe they're referring to the Barnett bit, but that
wasn't on target. So I think maybe Elliot Lee crossed the ball in at some point, and it didn't go to anybody. But it was sort of on target if you classed it as a shot. I don't know if they classed that as a shot, but I don't remember any shots on target. But
I would have thought that would have gone as a shot, though. Anyway.
Bryant T, which is at Rex Hub, said it's really worrisome how they can't find the back of the net away from the Kairas or even the opposing keeper. What is going on with this Jekyll and Hyde home and away form? Super Sub said, as poor as we have been in a long time, even with 11 men, just not not at it at all.
The Wrexham lowdown. The last season we had more than 5 red cards was backed in 2014 to 15 when we had 7. Only McFadzean was sent off last season. 4 of the 5 sending off so far in 23-24 season have been straight reds, with 3 of those in the first half. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, and it is worrying. I put this one in off Twitter. Rich Phillips, before the game, said Will Boyle needs to make a statement today. I think he'll put in a decent performance and get a goal. And fair play to him. He quoted his own tweet and said, "Told you," after the game. So it was funny.
At Beardy Wrexham, must be getting calmer as I'm getting older, but not that bothered we lost. Want to get another one over on Newport for sure, but in the grand scheme of things, not a disaster. Every time we have lost this season, we have won the next league game. I fully expect that trend to continue up the town.
So just to run down some stats for you, we're second in League Two, stay second. We're 2 points behind Stockport. We could have gone top with a win on Saturday, but it didn't happen. We played the same number of games as Stockport now. Mansfield now have a game in hand over us, and they're only 2 points behind us. 5 points separate the top 5 at the moment, so it's a little bit tight. If we were to split the table, stat for you, into home and away, the home table, we'd be top. Okay?
Right.
Home games, we'd be top. Played 14, won 11, drawn 2, lost 1. The one that we lost was the first game of the season. So after that, we've literally only dropped points in 2 games.
Yep.
Away, the away table, we're 11th. We have played 13 and we have only won 4 of 13 games away from home, drawn 5 and lost 4. Home form, basically, based on that, is what's going to get us promoted. At home, we have scored 43 goals and got 35 points. Away, we have only scored 11 goals and got 17 points. So that the difference between them two, 43 goals at home, 11 goals away. Worried?
No.
No?
No.
I think it's just our home form that's going to get us through. And if we
win every single home game, we're done.
I think so, and I think because we are going to pick up points away from home, it is a little bit of a worry. I think that we can't seem to find any form away.
I don't know why that is.
No, I don't know why that is either.
Are we talking about the next game now?
No. So we've got some halftime and full-time lives going on at the moment.
Yes.
So
you put that in without telling me.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So if you want to join us at halftime and full-time for games, we're live on YouTube doing that at the moment. We won't be doing one for the Blackburn game, obvious reasons, because if I wasn't working, we'd be at the game. But
we would do one.
We'd be doing them from Ewood Park. But we won't be doing for that one, but we are doing them regular now. I just wanted to thank some of the people who have been joining us. I picked some of you out, the ones who've been commenting and things like that. So Drew Does Whatever, Jay Raw, Peter Langenecker, Ben Parker, Chaz Llewellyn, Blair Vanderberg, Coatar, Jay, P7750, JBJB1200, and Saeed Furatan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Jessie P. She usually comes on, but for some reason she thought we were doing the live on Instagram, so she missed us yesterday.
Okay.
So she did send her apologies. So yeah, she has been on previous ones.
Yes,
so, yeah.
we're going to run through quickly. Obviously, our next game's Blackburn, but it's on a Monday, so it's worth mentioning the next episode of the podcast is going to be next Monday. We're going to release it early, so it's going to come out at around lunchtime on the Monday instead of the normal 6 o'clock, because the game is on Monday at 7:30. We want to give people an opportunity to listen to it maybe on the way to the game or prior to it all. So we're going to release that one at 12 o'clock. We are going to talk about the Blackburn game in a bit more detail next week.
I was going to say, I was a bit confused because usually we talk about the games that happen the following week, but we haven't got any.
We don't have a game this week, so we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth next week, I think, rather than talk about it now and then talk about it again next week. It just seems a bit silly. So we'll do that in a bit more detail. But yes, the next game for us is Monday, the 29th of January, 7:30, and it's the FA Cup 4th round against Blackburn. But we'll talk about that next week. Quick shout out for Dragon Chat. It's a mental health peer support group. They run a weekly Zoom call on a Thursday from 7 p.m. till 8:30. Steve Lloyd is the person who runs that. absolute superstar. The best thing to do is follow DragonChat-Steve Lloyd on Twitter, just to get all the info. If you are watching on YouTube, all the information of how to get on the call is down in the description as well. Quiz time.
Yep. Just a quick, before we start the quiz.
Yeah.
I mentioned last week, I think it was, that Dragon Chat are planning, I'm not sure how close they are at actually launching it, but they are planning on doing a peer support group for women,
yes.
Which will obviously be separate to the men's one. So once we'll try and get some more information from Steve.
Yeah.
We might even get him on ourselves to talk about it.
Yeah. Probably better.
Yeah, we'll get Steve on and he can talk about it, so that people are aware of, you know, what amazing work Steve Lloyd is doing.
Yes. Okay.
Quiz.
So, yeah, it's a quiz. It's an observational quiz again for you this week. See how much you were paying attention to the Newport game, okay? Some of them you've sort of already mentioned during the podcast, so, you know, you might be all right. Number 1.
Yeah.
Who scored Newport's goal? Was it Sebastian Palmer Holden?
Yes.
I made up 2 other names then.
It was him.
Stephen Evans Doyle or Samuel Howard Jones?
He's on loan, isn't he?
All right, shut up. You got that one right. Number 2.
Yes.
What was the attendance at the game? And you can get it within 300.
9,120.
Oh, you're more than 300 out there. It was 9,537.
Because I know that 1,700 of those were Ray fans.
Yeah, roll away fans.
Oh, Ray fans.
Okay, number 3.
Yeah.
Which statement is true? Wrexham received 5 yellow cards.
Nope.
There were 10 yellow cards in the game. Or there were more yellow cards in the last 10 minutes than in the whole of the rest of the game.
I'm going to go with B because I know there was 10 yellow cards.
Well, that's probably the right answer then, isn't it, darling?
Yes,
Yes, you are correct.
Thank you.
Number 4.
Yes.
One of Newport's players share their name with an occupation. Was it butcher, baker, or candlestick maker? No, I'm joking. Was it?
I'd love it if it was candlestick maker.
Can you imagine? Joe Candlestick Maker. Anyway, sorry. Butcher, baker, or bailiff?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm going to go butcher.
You're going to go butcher?
Baker.
It is baker, yes.
Well, I get that because I said baker before you'd even answered.
No. No. Last one.
Yeah.
Wrexham only had 1 player on the pitch at the start of the game with a single-digit number. Who was it?
Single digit.
Oh, this is good. You do your work
On the pitch.
at the start of the game.
At the start of the
Only
game.
1 player has a single-digit number.
Oh, Ben Tozer.
Ben Tozer, well done. The lowest number after Ben was Paul Mullin, number 10. I thought you might go for Arthur and forget that he wasn't number 1.
No.
Nah.
He's number 21.
Is he? I thought he was
He
33.
might be.
Right.
I was trying to I just plucked a number out of the air, but yeah, definitely is Ben Tozer,
I
yeah.
think you did. 12 is George Evans, is number 12.
Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George.
Thank you very much for joining us this week. As we said, please remember next week our podcast will come out early, so it'll be about lunchtime on the Monday. So if you're travelling to the game, you can listen to it and have loads of fun listening along with us. But yeah, we will see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.